Hi, Julio here, Rational Emotive Behaviour Therapy Oz. Today I'd like to talk about Success Helper feedback. We've looked at the Have a Go Spaghettio Success Helper approach to social emotional learning. So how do we help children develop the 6 competencies that are outlined on the chart? And one way of doing that is giving children accurate feedback. In this case, we would be providing them with success helper feedback. So when a child presents with a behaviour that reflects the Have a Go Spaghettio success helper chart, we feed back to that competency. The Have a Go Spaghettio approach is based on rational emotive behaviour therapy, but also on general semantics theory. I'll just read you something from Alfred Korzybski, who developed general semantics theory. He says the map is not the territory, the word is not the thing it describes. Whenever the map is confused with the territory, a semantic disturbance is set up in the organism. The disturbance continues until the limitation of the map is recognized. So when we talk about irrational thinking, in children, or they're in the process of constructing the kinds of beliefs that they hold true, then they can either be rational or irrational. And Korzybski talks about our beliefs, our mindset, or our habits of believing as a virtual map of reality. And if what we think doesn't match or what's happening in the world, there's a mismatch between the territory, the map, and the way we see it, then that can cause us all kinds of trouble. So when we want children to develop helpful habits of thinking, we want that to be based on the evidence. And Korzybski says, just remember and remind our children that when someone calls you an idiot, you are not an idiot, you are not the word. And you have a choice to believe it or not. Unfortunately, sometimes, or some children construct the idea that they can be the word that's assigned them by others. And this can be self-defeating, it can be destructive. And so we want children to develop attitudes or self-beliefs that are accurate, based on evidence. And essentially, we want children to develop unconditional self-acceptance, which is where they approve of themselves, or what they think about themselves is more important than what other people think about them. So that's not to it's not saying that children should think, well, I'm okay no matter what. You take on criticism and constructive advice from others, but you use it to improve yourself if you choose to do so. But essentially, you develop the attitude of I'm okay even if you don't think so. So if what I believe, my map best approximates the territory, then I'm thinking okay. I hope that made sense. This is the Have a Go Spaghettio Success Helper chart we've looked at before, and on the left-hand side there, it says that Success Helper feedback is feedback tailored to the Have a Go Spaghettio child Success Helper success stopper behaviours observed and the thinking that's informing them. So when children present with, for instance, blue Success Helper behaviour, which is hanging in there when the going gets tough, you respond to that. You say, you're hanging in there, well done, let's see where it gets you. Keep up the good work, and be very, very careful not to use global rating terms like good girl, good boy, well, you're doing a good job, good boy. We don't want children to internalize the idea that doing good is being good. We want them to be able to disassociate themselves or their sense of self from what they're doing. That's a healthy way of seeing things. Children and people generally come unstuck, is that if there's such an expression, when they think that what they do is who they are. And we need to be very, very careful. So when we're responding to children or giving feedback to children, let's be specific to the have a Go Spaghettio success helper competencies that they're expressing or demonstrating at the time. And being very careful about using terms that tend to rate or describe a child in a global sense, like you are smart. In other words, you are your smartness. Well, that's not true. You're not the word smartness. You're capable of smart things, and you might have a capacity or an attribute, a positive attribute, but it doesn't in itself define you. So we want children to be able to disassociate or kind of keep what they do and who they are separate and understand the difference. And that's rational thinking. So very important teaching skill, parenting skill, is feedback to the behaviour, to the competency being demonstrated. Avoid global rating terms like good boy, good girl, because they can be internalised to mean that I am my goodness, and all kinds of psychological upset and discomfort arises from that kind of thinking. So that's a brief chat today, but it's an important one. Remember that the quality of feedback we provide our children is extremely important in helping them develop rational ways of thinking, a mindset that is a better approximation of the reality. So their virtual map that they're constructing inside their heads better approximates, I'll use that word again, what's happening in the world. It's when our thinking is so far removed from what's happening that we cause ourselves trouble. So I'll leave you with a quote from Albert Ellis. People don't just get upset, they contribute to their upsetness through their own self-infatuation. So bear that in mind as you teach your little children, either as teachers or help them as a counsellor or parent them as parents. And be mindful of the feedback that you're providing your children. Until next time, have a Go Spaghettio. All the best.